Do you ever feel trapped by your past, like you'll never break free from the weight of your childhood? What if I told you that one single choice changed everything for one of the world's greatest motivators, Tony Robbins? If you want stories that give you the courage to take that leap, hit subscribe now, because this one will shake you and help you rise. Tony Robbins, the story of turning pain into power. Tony Robbins was born Anthony J. Mahavoric on February 29, 1960 in Glendora, California. He was the oldest of 3 children, and life at home was anything but stable. His family lived with financial hardship. His mother struggled with addiction, alcohol, and periods of severe emotional stress. The home environment was chaotic. Tony took on responsibility early, protecting his siblings, trying to shield them from abuse. He didn't have a steady father figure. Growing up, he absorbed negative voices, the kind that tell you are not enough, that you are broken, that some dreams are too big for people like you. By his teenage years, Tony was living under pressure at home, but he also sensed something within himself, a drive, a hunger, a question. Why are some people so confident, successful, happy, and others seem forever stuck in fear or despair? He observed people, neighbors, acquaintances, who'd once struggled become stable, successful. He asked the same question repeatedly: what changed for them? At 17, Tony was already working odd jobs, janitor shifts, moving furniture, anything to make ends meet and help his family. He saved as much as he could, and then made a decision many would say was risky. He spent nearly an entire week's pay, all of what he had, on a seminar led by Jim Rohn, a motivational speaker Tony admired. The seminar cost $35. Tony was earning about $40 a week. It was almost everything he had. That seminar changed his life. It opened his eyes to the possibility that mindset, beliefs, and the stories you tell yourself matter more than your circumstances. He saw how words, ideas, and models of thinking could shift someone's confidence, emotions, actions. Jim Rohn became more than an inspiration, he became a mentor. Tony began organizing for Rohn's seminars. He learned every behind-the-scenes detail: how to speak, how to connect, how to read people. Over time, Tony developed his own style. He fused what he learned with high energy, with psychology, with real life. He realized many people were stuck not because of lack of resources but because of limiting beliefs or past hurts. The voices from childhood, negative memories, shame, they had power only because people believed them. One of Tony's core ideas became, you can change the story you tell yourself. Not instantly, but deliberately. Tony's early adult years were far from perfect. He had fears, he had doubts, he had experiences that could have broken him. But each time he failed or suffered, he chose not to quit. He chose to learn, he chose to push forward. In his mid-20s, Tony published his first major book, Unlimited Power, a book about how your mental, emotional, and physical states shape what you can do in life, and how mastery over these states can change everything. That book, and his subsequent work like Awaken the Giant Within, cast him into a broader spotlight. He wasn't just speaking to local audiences or doing small events, he began hosting large seminars. He introduced dramatic, experiential methods, firewalking, intense audience engagement, challenges that pushed people beyond what they believed possible. For many, those were literal steps over fear. At the same time, Tony never lost sight of service. He built a foundation. In 1991, he launched the Anthony Robbins Foundation, now called the Tony Robbins Foundation, dedicated to helping those in need, homeless people, children, those in prison, elderly, anyone who had been forgotten. The idea: success is not just about you. It's about what you can give. Help restores your purpose. Giving back transforms both giver and receiver. As the years went on, the scale of Tony's influence grew. Books, audio programs, huge seminars with thousands of people, training events, coaching for CEOs. His message was consistent: you don't get to pick your start, but you get to choose where you go. You don't always control what life throws at you, but you control how you respond. Weaknesses are not final, fear is not fatal, pain is not permanent unless you accept it that way. And success, even wealth, impact, fulfillment, is not about avoiding failure, but learning from it, growing through it. One of the turning moments in Tony's life came when he consciously decided to change his relationships with himself, with others, with his purpose. He stopped letting really lies what people told him he was, what he believed about himself define his identity. He shifted his focus from getting something to becoming someone who is generous, courageous, resilient. He realized that what lasts is not what you accumulate, but who you become along the way. Even as Tony grew more famous, more influential, the obstacles didn't disappear. He faced criticism, public scrutiny, and the heavy burden of maintaining his own standard. He pushed himself physically and emotionally. His schedule was intense, speaking for many hours, traveling, performing, leading large teams. Sometimes overwhelmed, always challenged, but he used those challenges to refine it, to deepen empathy, to practice what he preached. Because he knew that authenticity matters. People can tell when someone is pretending. Tony Robbins' authenticity comes from having walked through fire, not in metaphor alone, but in real life. Today, Tony Robbins is known globally as the face of transformational speaking. His books are translated into many languages. His seminars are attended by people who want more from life, not just more money, but more meaning, more courage, more freedom. He uses his influence not for fame alone, but for purpose, helping others break free from whatever binds them: poverty, low self-worth, fear, limiting beliefs. What can you take from Tony Robbins' path? First, understand that your past does not equal your future. The story you tell yourself can be rewritten. Second, decisions shape destiny, sometimes the risky, uncomfortable decisions. Tony deciding to spend what he could barely afford on that seminar, that was a turning point. Third, small actions compound. Learning, studying, serving, showing up, even when it's hard, these are the bricks with which you build greatness. Fourth, failure is not the opposite of success, it's part of success. You will fall, you will hurt, but each setback is a chance to learn, to grow, to build resilience. And finally, true success isn't just what you achieve, but who you become and how you give back. If Tony's journey has shown you anything, let it be this: you are not defined by your childhood, your mistakes, or the voices that told you couldn't. Right now, choose one decision that scares you, one action that you've avoided because you think you're not ready. Do it, take that step, share in the comments what you're committing to, because you might just inspire someone else to rise too. If you found value in this story, give it a thumbs up, share it with someone who needs to hear this truth, and make sure you subscribe so you never miss another story that reminds you how powerful you really are.